with me little stick of black pool rock. Hello, welcome to episode 12, the penultimate episode of Through the Bomb Hole. I've done some research, I've read the 1939 register and looked at family trees. I know who lived here. I know whose air raid shelter this was. It was Alfred and Mabel Clapham's. I like to think that Alfred was the guy who built this beautiful thing I'm digging up. Mabel, we know that worked at the Cayley's chocolate factory. It would have been a bad time for her anyway, dodging most of 640 bombs that fell on Norwich. But the Cayley's factory got a direct hit and burnt to the ground in 1942 in April the 29th, I think. And if that wasn't a miserable enough existence and they wanted to go down to the local pub for a half of shandy, well, it was bad news there, because a month later the Trafford Arms got a direct hit and the insides were burnt out. Make that half. Through the bomb hole. I'm so happy I've exposed that. You can see the whole wall on one side, and I'm no expert, I'm no structural engineer, but that looks great. There's no cracks at all. Kind of looks like it's breeze block, and there is something going on with the surface. It looks like it has been painted as well, but there's no obvious signs of any damage, and please don't let there be any signs of damage at the bottom of that lot. Here's an interesting gadget. This was my dad's, so probably was my granddad's, I'd say. So it's going to be 40 years old at least. But I asked my mum what it was. She said, that's a crumb. So I don't know what it is. That is a Norfolk accent. That's a crumb. I haven't bothered looking up to see whether it's a chrome or whatever. Maybe it's a crumb. I don't know. But I've got a crumb and I'm going to use it. And I love it because it's so Norfolk. Get out of my bomb hole, will you? Or I'll stick this crumb right up your... Okay, already we've gone away from the plan at a slight tangent. There's the bomb hole canal to get your bearings, but I have had a little go down this side, and it's so dark down there, isn't it? Can you see? What if I push it further in? So I've gone at a right angle to dig down there, not at the floor yet. I'm noticing also on the wall, on some of the shots I've taken, this wall, you can see I'm well inside the air raid shelter. You've not seen that shot before, have you? But on some of the shots from the other entrance, this you see all this, it looks horrible, looks like oil or something. I just sort of gave that a little bit of a rub and it all goes in your mouth and tastes of 70-year-old earth. Is fantastic. It's a miracle. 5 minutes ago I could taste my tongue. Now I taste war and death. Nice permanent tire. I'll take those all day long. I'll get a new patio. Oh, what is this fresh madness? Oh, it's a martini bottle. Look at that. Martini bottle, fantastic. Oh, hang on, there's a little bit in the bottom there. I'll have that. Last Saturday night we got married, me and my girl sat. And in that corner it turned into a bottle corner. I just keep digging them up. I don't know what they were. The last one was a Fanta bottle. I shouldn't mind betting they're old Corona bottles. Oh my, it's windy today, isn't it? A couple of little finds there. That one is a Vaseline bottle which has raised text on it saying it's from New York. And the other one, Queen Anne's Scotch Whisky. I think I've got to know. I think I've got to take that top off and have a sniff. Let's have a little look at this then. Ooh. No. It doesn't smell of anything really. Lino. Distinctly 70s, I'd say. Do you know, I've always wanted one of them. A hinged toilet for an action man. It's entirely possible that I might get an entire Womble's lampshade. It's a lovely day today, but it's a bit nippy. That's proper taters, that is, proper taters. But we're going to have a go at this. We're going to press on. We're down in the bunker. No one can hear you scream. And as you can see, we're going to throw some light on the subject. Wow. So very crudely, if I can get the hang of moving my head up and down to show you the light which is on my head, this is where we're at. We've got this tin on the ceiling, which hopefully you can see a little bit better now, and along here, as my face mask goes right over my mouth, along here we've we've hit the floor now. There's concrete, there's a big thing in the way, big rusty thing down there, and then the size of the task is, and that's as wide a shot as I can get, is that's the amount of soil I've got to dig out there. And as you can see, that's the concrete floor down to the other door there. So that's the project. I'm hoping the ceiling is going to flake off. If I can show you perhaps a little bit closer, I think this is just going to pull off like that, and so because it's so rotten, so I don't think that's a big job. At some point I'm going to do that. And then here you have these lethal spikes as well, which I've got to deal with, but an angle grinder to those, and that one's just fallen off, but an angle grinder should get all those. But now I'm going to crack on, and I'm going to do some serious digging and get rid of as much as that as I can, which is actually quite high in that corner still. So I want to see what I've got underneath it and on the floor. So let's crack on. Surprisingly finding lots of bottles intact, and they're right at the bottom in the corner. of the Euro chocolate. It's another nice one with some liquid in it. I don't think I'm going to be smelling that one like I did before. This is a nice bottle. It's got measures on it, spoons, something, oh, tablespoons? Tablespoons. That's going to get cleaned up. And it's got the cork still in it. Oh, I'm so tempted to see what that is, have a sniff of that. Tablespoons. Oh, what a lovely bottle. I'm pleased with that one. I'll clean it up later. Another lock of a door. And guess what? Still got the key in. Okay, I've been working, it's raining, I need to get that camera in quickly, but I wanted to show you this. I've been working in the rain because I wanted to have a big power dig. I want to really get emptying out. I've got something to show you though. Come down here. Oh, you can't because you're a camera. I have to come and get you. Oh, soaking wet. Yes, I know it's out of focus. Look, I want to show you down here though, so come down here. So I was digging in this section here and I found that. Look at that, and I thought, that's a little shoe. Look what's attached to it though. Oh, look what's attached to the shoe. Can you see it? It's one of those flowers. Oh, let's bring you into the light. Of which I found, what, 6? I mean, going by this, attached to shoes. What the heck is it? The lacy basket might have had something to do with it. What is that? I mean, sort of suggests a wedding or something to me, but I don't quite know how or why. I'll wash that up and show you that later on, but quite pleased with that little find. Early start this morning. Early start being after the school run, so 9:30 in the morning. Gonna have a couple of hours on this, and the reason I'm so keen to get started early on is that after 6 months I'm beginning to see the light at the end of the tunnel. Literally. So hopefully you've got a bit more perspective of where we're at with this. You can see from the last dig the stain on the corner wall is where the soil was and where I am now, and I've gone from this door all the way to there and found concrete underneath to that exit, and then if I go around this way I've got the same down here. I'm onto the concrete down there. But all the time I've been looking at these walls, just trying to see if there's any sign at all of any kind of structural damage. Looks good. It really looks good all the way around. So I'm hoping that the only remaining bit is behind that piece of soil, and then hopefully there's no cracks or anything under there. And then we'll start looking at the next stage, which is the ceiling. Removing the tin from the ceiling and looking at this ledge, which I'll come on to in a little while, but first that's got to go. See ya. I was just sitting here and I just knackered like I am, and just contemplating the whole project, feeling a little bit like, what the heck are you doing? I don't have many of those phases, but I've just fallen into this lull where I'm just staring, and then I just stare at the soil and I see that. So somebody's had a little dolly down there. It's plastic, by the way. Oh, Really cramped in this corner. Really cramped in this corner. But I'm trying to get behind the monster of a pile, because if I can get in this section I've got more room to move. I'm really quite exhausted again. It's just back-breaking work really, and it has been a very good advert for the old Wilco £5 shovel, which is getting a bit dented like my positivity at the moment. So I uncovered two more things to show you. Firstly, this medieval torture device, which best guess is don't know, part of a fire grate possibly, but it doesn't make sense that it would be that shape. Whether it is something that they put in just simply to get the mud off the wellies, I don't know. That's that thing. And just flipped over this little baby. I'm excited about that because that's another tile which isn't from the 80s. That's another very old small tile. It's nice too. I've dug up quite a few bottles intact and quite a few tins covered in rust, but this is the first tin that I've dug up where you can actually see the print, the design on the front. You can see that I've dug up a tin of brown ale. Don't know what brown ale, whose brown ale. I doubt it's Newcastle. I shouldn't mind betting it's Man's Brown or something like that. Hopefully it'll clean up a little bit, but it's very tender. I've already put my finger through it. Interesting. I'm thinking I might be digging up a dustbin lid here. We'll see. Oh, there's another piece of lead from the sash window. Ironically, at the bottom, it's been at the bottom, but it's probably the best preserved of it all. You can see the lead on that one. Oh, come on. There we go. I've hit that far corner now on the back wall, and it's concrete all the way. The wall is really good. There's no cracks in it. It's strong. I'm happy. All the walls are done apart from that back wall, and this monster mountain of monstrous crap is getting smaller. But I'm broken, to be honest. I'm absolutely broken. It's killing my back. I'm really run down. And I can't wait to get to the end of it, so I can play with what I've discovered has been under my garden all these years. 30 years of that time I've owned the house. But it's killing me, it really is killing me. Oh man. Even at this late stage, the shelter's still throwing up the secret. This appears to be well, pretty certainly is a paraffin heater. You can see there by the little fuel valve on the side, and it's probably almost certainly the paraffin heater that would have actually been in there during the war. But it's next to useless because it's so fragile that it's literally falling apart, bits are falling off it. Interesting that there's a little round glass disc on there. I don't know if that relates to the glass disc that we found before, but fascinating thing to find. You're probably asking yourselves, why is he filming taking another plastic bag out? He's done that shot hundreds and hundreds of times. But those bags weren't like this one. This is a very special bag because this is the last bag I'm ever going to take out of this bunker. Today, 8 months on from when I started it, and having made this mess of my garden numerous times over. The air raid shelter is empty. I said in the first episode I was hoping to find one thing of age, and as it transpired I just kept digging up things, from what I thought was a bomb, which was lead weights and sash windows, to rusty locks which would have been on the doors, to plastic bags, everything. I mean 100 things, glass bottles, enjoyable things, made it far more bearable than just 8 months of digging and putting into sacks. But it's been a hell of an effort, really, so I feel really quite pleased with myself. And now the fun part starts, because I'm just going to tart it up a little bit, and that will form the basis of the final episode, episode 13. Thank you for watching. I really do appreciate that. I hope you've enjoyed it. That was the penultimate episode of The Bomb. The last episode, sometime in the future. I'm just going to tart it up a little bit. I'm not going to get too grand designs. Maybe a little bit amazing small spaces. But I'm just going to make it fun to live in now. And I'm going to enjoy it. And I'm going to do all the fun stuff. So that's in the future. So thank you very much for watching. And up there somewhere, Alfred and Mabel, I hope you don't mind me doing this. It seems worthwhile to me. And I'm going to have a better time in it than you did.
Go.
And you're going to belt after me, are you?
Yeah.
You're not recording, are you? Yeah?
I am.
Ready? Come on then, go. Go.